Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be doing the March 2022 edition of the Start Small, Share the Love tag. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay guys, so I'm going to do this video a little differently from the last 2 months. If you're not aware, on the last Friday of every month, I plan to do another edition of this video where it takes my Start Small tag that I started last year and also incorporates Just Being Beth's Share the Love tag, and all of those elements will be incorporated into this video. And so the way that I'm going to do this particular edition is I will start with Beth's Share the Love tag, where I'm gonna share some channels that I enjoy. Doesn't really matter how big or small they are. It doesn't even matter what genre they are. They're just channels that I truly like to watch. I'm also going to share some artists in the coloring book community that I enjoy their work. And I think that's really one of the key elements that I missed before about Beth's tag is it's sharing the love, not just about YouTube channels, but it's just things in the coloring book community, because her channel is a coloring book based channel. Sorry, I don't script, so I will stumble over my words. I don't know how long this is going to be, but everything will be time-stamped in the description box as well as the pinned comment. Once I'm done with the Share the Love tag, then I'll go into my Start Small tag, and basically I'll just be highlighting some channels that as of the filming of this have less than 1,000 subscribers on their channel. Depending on the size of a channel, different features open up at 500 subscribers and then at 1,000 subscribers. So it's definitely a way to get some eyes on some smaller channels. And then I'm going to end the video with just talking about comments. And I talked about comments in my February edition of this, but I did have something else to talk about regarding comments, and we'll end the video with that. I do have a list, so if for any reason I'm looking down, that's why. So for the Spread the Love tag, again started by Just Being Beth, all of the channels that I mentioned will be linked below. What she did in her video was she shared some channels that she really enjoyed, but she also shared some coloring books and some coloring book artists that she really enjoyed as well. So some of the channels that I enjoy watching, the first one is Mochi Bujo. And she does, if the name is any indication, she does bullet journal content on her channel. I love both her bullet journal content as well as her reading journal content. She does some amazing doodling and drawing. I believe she also has her own shop. I don't know if it's an Etsy shop or just a website that she sells her things. You can find all of her information on her channel. So again, I will link that below. Another channel I'd like to recommend is Coloring with Elena. Now, Elena is in the Ukraine. I believe she lived in the city of Kyiv. I think she has moved to a safer location. Thoughts and prayers with you, my dear. So I highly recommend that you check out her content. A way that you can support a channel is by watching their video playlists, commenting, liking, subscribing. It does help with the views. I believe she also has either membership or Patreon. Again, you can check all of that out on her channel, and right now I'm sure that would be very appreciated and much needed for Miss Elena. A channel that I have enjoyed for several months now. Now, I've only discovered the coloring book community as of January of 2022, and so slowly building up my catalog of people I enjoy watching. But one of them definitely is Amberly Silencia. I'm sorry if I mangled that. I think Amberly's work is on par to Zucchini Kitty or even Chris Chang. I love her use of color. I love her compositions. And I've always found it fascinating about the coloring book community that you can take the same starting page, and yet depending on your choice of mediums, depending on your choice of colors, it can just be absolutely different from one person to the next. next. And I think Amberly, her work is absolutely phenomenal, and I love her accent. So definitely go and check her out. A channel I also enjoy watching is from the junk journaling community, and it is 1134 Press. Her videos generally are no more than 15 to 20 minutes long. Usually they're like between 8 and 10 minutes, but they are highly edited, very polished. It is very professional looking, and yet I find she's very engaging. I love her style of using things in her various junk journals. She has a lot of videos out there. I definitely recommend that you check them out. But she uses things that she makes. She uses things that are truly things she would have thrown away, hence junk journaling. And she makes it into something that's absolutely exquisite and beautiful. And you never would have known that it was junk per se that she had started with. So I highly recommend that you check her out. And then the final channel that I want to recommend here on YouTube is T's World of Color. Now that should not be a surprise by way of channel to anyone here in the coloring book community. Miss T is an amazing resource. She is so warm, she is so genuine, and she actually also colors. And she does phenomenal work. I love her different use of mediums. And sometimes when I just want to have coloring content on the background and not really focus on anything, I will watch her coloring book collection video from last year, and then I'll just have it on loop because I can look up because of the audio cues to see, oh yeah, that coloring book, that coloring book. But I feel like I love hanging out with Miss T. It sounds weird, but I do. And those are the channels that I just watch on a regular basis. Again, big, small, it doesn't really matter. And then some of the artists that I want to recommend, specifically in the coloring book community, I am going to try to expand that into other fields, hopefully in the future. If you've been watching my channel, this first one should not be a surprise, and it is Zan Von Zed. Now, as far as I know, I do have all of the coloring books that this artist has available on Amazon. I believe they also have an Etsy shop. My friend Miss Deb, we do a lot of buddy coloring in Zan Von Zed's books, and she usually uses PDFs, and I believe she got them from Etsy. I will link the Amazon page for Zan Von Zed in my description box below for the 3 artists that I'm going to recommend to you guys. They are not affiliate links. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but these are coloring books that I highly recommend. And so I'm going to direct you to their page, and then from there you can find the various coloring books that you might be interested in. Now, the reason why I like Zan Von Zed so much is because I find the women that she draws to be beautiful and striking, and yet not so cutesy. I think a lot of the women colored in or drawn in the coloring book community tend to lean towards that kind of cutesy look, but they're beautiful, but I wouldn't necessarily call them cute. They are very reminiscent to me of the National Geographic magazine, I think one of their best-selling magazines of, and I'll try to insert it here, where the woman on the cover just had this very unflinching, piercing gaze, and I think that the Zan Von Zed gives me a lot of that. They're very gaunt, they're very angular, and yet they are absolutely beautiful, and they're some of my favorite coloring pages to color. Now, considering the amount of coloring pages that you get, some of you might not consider it worth the value. I think they run between $12 and $14 on Amazon, and I think there's only like 20 images per book. They're very slim, single-sided Amazon CreateSpace paper. And yet, even with all of that, if Zan Von Zed did more artwork on Amazon or even Etsy, if they released more there, then I actually would get more of the work because I am just that much of a fan of it. So for me, the value is more in the artwork versus the number of pages. I know with some Jade Summer and some of those type of books, you can get a really thick coloring book for $6 or $7, but for me it's the quality of the images over the volume of them. So I would highly recommend that you check out Zan Von Zed. The second artist, it should not be a surprise to you guys, it is Eri, and Eri is an artist out of Japan, and Eri is one of the few, I'd say Zan Von Zed and Opal are the other two, that if they release new work, I need to own it. I am not a complete collection person by any means, but those three artists are probably the ones as of right now that would fit that bill. I love the whimsy and the magical element of Eri's coloring books, but because they are so detail oriented, I don't consider them coloring books for children. Some I think are definitely geared towards children. There is a youthfulness, but they are not childish to me, even though the subject matter is very much in the realm of childhood by way of fairy tales and magic and things like that. But I love her work, and I don't want to say I don't do enough because my time is limited, so I do what I can, but her coloring books, well, honestly, I'd say the vast majority of my coloring books, I just love flipping through them because when I see a page, whether it's colored or not, I can actually envision a story, and I love that aspect of it where you have the imagery and then the story is up to you to create, and it's just, to me, it's just amazing, and I love her work. So I'd highly recommend Eri. Again, I will link her Amazon page in the description box below, and the ones there, I believe, are the US or the English versions. You can also go to Amazon Japan, type in Eri, and you'll find a lot more of her coloring books. And then the final one, you don't see a lot on my channel, but I love the art style. It's very similar to me, so I don't have multiples of a lot of the different books. And that would be Tatiana Bogema-Stolova. Now, if you look on her Amazon page where she lists all of her books, she is the artist for The Nice Little Town, and I really like them. I have one. Actually, no, I have two. I have the very first one, which is just a bunch of storefronts, basically, and then I have number, I don't know, 7, 4, 8, it's one of them, where it has some of the mice, and then I have her Nice Little Town interiors, and I really like that one as well. Because a lot of her work is very similar to me, I don't feel the need to own all of them, but if you're starting out, or if you're just looking for something different, I would recommend checking out her Amazon page at her collection of books, because her books are very cost effective. I think you get between 30 and 40 images, single-sided. Amazon CreateSpace paper, but I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the books are on that paper. But she has such a catalog of books that run between $6 and $14, and the $14 ones are the compilation books, and so you can get a lot of the books assembled in one place. And so unlike the Zan Von Zed, which is very limited by way of number of pages, the Tatiana Bogema-Stolova are really cute. I find them very whimsical, very magical, different from Eri, absolutely. I think Tatiana has her own personal style, but if you're just getting started, I think it's a good place to start, because if you're like me, you might not really know what your style is by way of the paper that you like to use, the mediums that you like to use, or even the content or the coloring pages that you like to color in. And so if you start small and you use something that is not so costly, then you might figure out, yes, I love coloring mice and animals and whimsical and mushrooms, or I hate that. But it was $6, so it's okay. But I definitely recommend to check out those three artists. All right, so that's it for the Spread the Love tag. Now we're going to go into my Start Small tag, and these channels, again, as of the filming of today, do have less than 1,000 subscribers. The first one is Amanda's Joy of Coloring. I love Amanda's use of color, but I think what I like the best about Amanda's channel is that more often than not, when she's doing either haul videos or her completed pages videos, she features coloring books that I have never seen, and I've certainly never seen colored in. And while I love me a collection video or a haul video, my favorite, bar none, videos are the completed pages. And when you feature a book that I've never seen, it's just, I don't know what it is that's so exciting to me, but it is. And so I highly recommend checking out Amanda's Joy of Coloring. Another channel that I've been watching for several months now is M. Bean's Color With Me. She does a lot of shorts videos lately, but she also does a regular length videos, and for this year she is doing the one color challenge, and I love challenges like that where it makes you think outside the box. And so I started it in February, and I plan to continue to do it every month, at least one page where you choose a color and you can use a variety of tones in that color family, and then just complete a page as simple or as intricate as you want to do it. And I think it's fun, and I love having elements like that when I'm doing pages, just because it makes it more of a game element to me, and I really enjoy that. A channel that I've recently, within the last few months, have discovered is Rach from Pricey Colors. And it's funny because I was watching her completed pages video, and then I think a few days, weeks later, again, it all runs in to one for me, she was doing her rendition of the random color generator that was Lily's challenge for February. And then I heard my name, and I've talked about this before. Whenever I hear Johanna, I just assumed you're talking about the other one, but then she said my channel name. I'm like, okay, I wasn't really paying attention. Let me rewind this video and watch what's going on. And I found that challenge really fun. We actually have a buddy color for this month, March. I just started mine. She's completed hers. She sent me her completed picture. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I am having so much fun getting to know her. I love her accent. I absolutely love her accent. If you didn't know that about me, I'm really into accents, but it's fun getting to know her. And because of that tag, it's just one of those things that I like to do, again, on a monthly basis, where it just pushes me out of my comfort zone. And when it comes to my coloring hobby, I really enjoy that. So definitely go ahead and check out Rach from Pricey Colors. A channel that okay, how do I say this without sounding weird? I've been watching Tammy from Tammy Colors 2, again, for several months, and more of a lurker though. And then she did some flip throughs of some coloring books. I'm like, oh, I really like that one. I think it's Night Garden by R.G. Hampton. And I'm like, I really like that one. I ordered that one because I loved some of the imagery in there. And then I think she had shown Hannah Lynn's The Little coloring book. There's a weird edit right here. If I don't move around, then my lights go out because they're on an automatic timer, and so that's what happened. She also showed the Pocket Hannah Lynn book, I think. I've seen it on Emma's channel, I've seen it on Pixie's channel, and so I ordered that one as well. We have a bunch of buddy colors set up, and I'm looking forward to future buddy colors. But while with most of my buddy colors, it took a while for them to get the notion that I might be a little weird. I think we were like 3 replies in where I'm like, we should do this, and we should do this, and we should do this. And then I'm like, okay, if you didn't know this about me, I enjoy my buddy colors, and so yeah, please feel free to say no to me. And it's just, I don't know, it's funny to me. I don't know if she finds that funny, but I find it funny. And so I definitely would recommend Tammy. She has, for this month, because she turns 50, I want to say this week sometime, or maybe it happened already, but it's definitely in March. It's definitely in March. She turns 50, and so she has a hashtag of Fantasy for Tammy's 50th going on. I actually hope she extends it for the full year. If you turn 50, it should be a year-long celebration, sweetie. I turned 50 in July, and believe you me, it's going to be a rest of the year-long celebration. So definitely go and check her out, check out her channel, and check out her fantasy for Tammy's 50th video, because it's basically all things, pretty much, except when it isn't. And the final channel I want to recommend to you is Bubbles Studio. Now, I had it in my planner because I try to list down names of channels in my monthly calendar on my Hobonichi weeks. If you're interested, you can check out my video playlist on that. Months in advance. So I'm always writing down names just because I don't remember anything. And I think her name before used to be something different, like Bubbles Coloring, but now it's Bubbles Studio, and I really enjoy her content. In fact, I rewatched her February 2022 completed pages videos, and two things stood out to me for that. The first thing was I loved all of her pages, but her mythographic pages were my favorite. And then she did a puffer fish page out of one of the mythographics. I couldn't tell you which one, it's just one of them. And she said something to me that I'm like, oh, you're right. And she said she did end up coloring everything on the page, but depending on how you hold the page or how she was showing the page, you couldn't see color. But the only thing that she was interested in coloring was pufferfish, and so that got the most attention. It definitely stands out when you look at it, and yet I'm like, well, yeah, there's quite a few pages. I'm only interested on a couple of elements, but I don't know why I feel compelled to color everything. So I thought that was such an interesting thing. So definitely go and check out Bubbles Studio. Now, for some of them, sometimes I know their names, their actual names, and sometimes I don't. But more often than not, I will refer to them by their channel names, just because then it's easier for you guys to reconcile the two people. Like, people call me Jojo. My name is Johanna. My channel name is Joza Hannah. It's a made-up name, my channel name, so there is no really right or wrong way to say it. But just if you're ever wondering why I call people by their channel names, it's because it's just easier to reconcile if you see their comments, or if you have a channel and you see them there, if that makes sense. All right, so that's it for the Spread the Love and the Start Small tag, and then we're going to end this video with talking about comments. Now, in February's video, I talked about the importance of comments, but it's not your job. But in this video, especially because March is it can be a difficult month for me. I am not, and have not been for honestly several years now, really good at replying at comments, and it's kind of twofold for me. I love when you guys leave comments, not gonna lie, and I read them all. I either read them when I'm on my laptop or on my PC during my lunch break, or I read them on my phone, but I am not really good at replying. And sometimes it's just because it is overload of so many comments coming at me at one time that I get overwhelmed really easily. But a lot of times, especially like within this last month, how do I say this? It's selfish of me because I love the comments. I love that I have friends in the community, but I can't engage for whatever the mental space is. For this month, it was the passing. Well, no, let me rephrase that. My sister passed away several years ago, but this year is a milestone because she would have been 40. Come July, when I turn 50, it's going to also be a little bittersweet because it is a milestone year for us. And so so many of you had reached out to me here, Instagram, and it's just not something that I can respond to. Even talking about that, it makes me emotional. And when I get into that headspace, I really need to just disengage, just because otherwise it just doesn't go away. And I'm really sorry for that. Now, no one's ever said anything, but I always feel bad about that, because some of you have left so many just amazing, heartfelt comments, and I feel like I should respond. And I don't, and I am so sorry for that. But I do see you, even if I don't acknowledge it by way of a reply. So it's something that's been ongoing. It's not just this month. It's something that I've never been really good at. But again, it's one of those selfish things where I love them, but it may seem like it's a one-way street, where you guys leave comments, but I don't respond in kind. So I wanted to acknowledge that. I'm on my lunch break. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but I am. And so I'm gonna spend the rest of my lunch just doing a little bit of coloring. I'll probably edit and get this out so that it's scheduled for Friday. Guys, thank you so much for following me on this journey. Thank you so much for being so encouraging, so supporting. Check out all of the various channels that I've recommended below. It's really about using my platform and just getting some eyes in front of some other channels, whether they're in the coloring book community or not. I think YouTube is a great resource to just find some places to connect, whether internationally through food, whether through a hobby that you enjoy, whether a hobby that you didn't even really know existed. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.